Hi, everybody. Great news. We're about to do another daily oral language sentence. I know how fantastic you think that is, so don't let me stop you from doing this. Let's go. Daily oral language sentence number 93. Please copy it down the wrong way you see it now. After we go over it and I show you the correct way, you will copy it down the correct way as well, of course, and then we'll be done for today with our daily oral language. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to read it out loud. I'm going to say, yesterday, Mom took I and Jack to the pet store. While we was there, we seen a lot of really great dogs and cats. Okay, I'm going to read it out loud again. Yesterday, Mom took I and Jack to the pet store. While we was there, we seen a lot of really great dogs and cats. All right. There is so much going on in the sentence, but I'm going to point out to you that everything that's in the sentence that needs to be fixed, we've gone over several times. The most important part of the sentence, of course, is that this is a run-on sentence. Reading it out loud, I noticed that, yes, there was a pause, but there was also definitely a full stop. And when we have full stops, we're going to either put in a period or a semicolon. Remember, a semicolon is just a fancy period. Wait. Why do I use semicolons then if it's the same thing as a period? Again, it's just to make your writing seem and look a little more mature. It shows off your skills. And again, you don't want to show off those skills too much because it looks like you're being a show off and it comes across as too strong. So my suggestion would be only about one semicolon per page. If you want to go crazy, maybe two, but I wouldn't do any more than that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to read it out loud again. Where does my pause go, which would be a comma, and where does my full stop go? In this case, we'll use a semicolon. Listen, yesterday, Mom took I and Jack to the pet store. While we was there, we seen a lot of really great dogs and cats. Okay, clearly my comma, my pause, goes after yesterday. And my full stop, where would I put a period or a semicolon? Where does this sentence need to be broken up to separate one sentence from the other? Of course, would be after the words pet store. All right, let's go on. Let's go back to the top and see what we've got. So we have yesterday. Let's capitalize yesterday, of course, and let's fix yesterday. Even though it sounds like an I, it's an E. Yesterday, good. Mom took I and Jack. Now, I'm not saying my mom. So I'm using it as your name, and when we use it as a name, of course, we capitalize it. So it's yesterday, Mom took I and Jack. Okay, can I say she took I and Jack? A lot of people at this point would say capitalize the I, and what I would say to them is no, because you can't use the word I in this sentence. Remember, how do you figure that out? There is a trick. Yes, get rid of the words and Jack. Can I say Mom took I to the pet store? Absolutely not. Who did she take? She took me to the pet store. And remember, you're not going to say me and Jack to the pet store. The proper way to do it, it's just always nicer, is you always put the other person first. So we know it's Mom took Jack and me to the pet store, because again, you can't say that Mom took I to the pet store. So yesterday, Mom took Jack and me to the pet store. Take a look at pet store. What's wrong with it? Correct. It does not need to be capitalized because there's no definitive name of the pet store. If you said she took me to Diamond Pet Store or Union Pet Store, then of course I would capitalize it, but it's just a pet store. We don't capitalize it. Same thing when you're talking about high schools. If I said she took me to the high school, I wouldn't capitalize it. But if I said she took me to Union High School or she took me to Westfield High School, then I would capitalize all of those words. Let's continue. So we have yesterday, comma, Mom took Jack and me to the pet store. Cool. While we was there, can I say while we was there? Absolutely not. It's while we were there. Now, you would say while I was there or he or she was there because those are singular, but we have the word we in the sentence, so it's plural. So while we were there or they were there, whenever it's plural, it has to be were, not was. So while we were there, take a look at there. We're not using the possessive form of there. We're using over there. We went there yesterday, more as a place or a location. So it's T-H-E-R-E, excellent. So that's the location form of there. While we were there, excellent. While we were there, we seen a lot of, you can't say we seen, let's fix that. While we were there, we saw a lot of really great dogs and cats. A couple of things still wrong with this. Hopefully everybody's screaming out there, Mr. Kenny, you can't put a lot as one word. It's two separate words. And I'm saying to you, absolutely correct. Thank you for pointing that out. So while we were there, we saw a lot of really great dogs and cats. While we were there, we saw a lot of really great dogs and cats. There's still a couple of things wrong with this sentence. One, we're going to put a period at the end of the sentence, of course. And then two, what else is wrong? Of course, we don't have apostrophes in this sentence because we're not owning anything. The dogs aren't owning anything. If you say we saw a lot of really great dogs bowls or dogs bones or dogs cages or dogs books, I don't know, that's a possessive form of dog. And the same thing for cats. We're not saying the cat's tails, the cat's whiskers, the cat's toys, the cat's litter boxes. No, we're just saying the cats. So we don't apostrophize dog and cats because they're not owning anything. And of course, we have a period at the end of the sentence. Let's take a look. Did we get everything? There was a lot in this sentence. Let's see. We have capitalized yesterday. We have to put a pause between yesterday and mom. Otherwise, it looks like her name was Yesterday Mom, and it's not. It's yesterday. Mom took, and of course, we're capitalizing mom because we're using it as a name. She took Jack and me. Remember, you can't even say Jack and I because you can't say she took I to the pet store. And we're not going to say me and Jack. You always put the other person first. It's just plain nice. So we have yesterday, comma, mom took Jack and me to the pet store. We lowercase pet store, of course, because there's no specific name. Where's our semicolon? Because these are two separate sentences. Good. Here's our second sentence. While we were there, we saw a lot of really great dogs and cats. We can't say while we was there. We fixed there because it's not T-H-E-I-R. It's talking about the location there. I went over there. Over there is a great place. We saw. You can't say seen because we're talking about more than one person, right? We saw. A lot of really great dogs and cats. Remember, a lot is two separate words. And then, of course, we got rid of the apostrophe in dogs and in cats because they're not possessing anything. So let me read this again. We have yesterday, comma, mom took Jack and me to the pet store, semicolon. While we were there, we saw a lot of really great dogs and cats. Fantastic. I just want to point out one other thing. If I chose to make this a period instead of a semicolon, how else would the sentence change? Of course, we would capitalize the word while because we're saying this is a separate sentence. Everybody good? Really nice job, everybody. Fantastic.